An independent commission calls the release of San Antonio archdiocese files on accused priests heartbreaking. Negotiations over a new San Antonio firefighter contract start off with a sniping match. And San Antonio's airport loses more than a dozen flights. This is your Express Briefing podcast for Friday, February 1st. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. And get each day's top news and sports headlines delivered to your inbox at expressnews.com/newsletters. Visibly distressed and his voice cracking at times, Thursday, Archbishop Gustavo Garcia Siller delivered the most comprehensive report ever produced on priest sexual abuse of minors in the Archdiocese of San Antonio. The report names 54 priests in 150 cases that date back to 1941, noting where they worked, the parishes where the alleged abuse occurred, and basic details about the allegations, and notes the Archdiocese is currently investigating 2 other priests. The revelations were part of a string of announcements made Thursday by Texas bishops who agreed last fall to produce reports of clergy credibly accused of abuse. 14 of Texas's 15 Catholic dioceses did so, excluding the Fort Worth Diocese, which has identified accused priests on its website for more than a decade. The 54 named in San Antonio are the most in the state, out of a total of nearly 300. San Antonio's archbishop says most of the alleged abuse occurred in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. Of the 54 priests named, 30 are dead, 20 are alive, and 4 are described as unable to be located or otherwise unknown. All the priests in the report have been permanently removed from the ministry. While the local firefighters union has announced it's ready to return to the bargaining table after 4 years of stalemate, the renewed discussions hit turbulence right from the beginning. On the same day, the San Antonio City Council appointed Eric Walsh as its new city manager. Thursday, an attorney for the San Antonio Professional Firefighters Union sent a letter to city officials, inviting them to begin renewed contract negotiations at the Union Hall on February 6th, but also included a biting summary of how the union views the standoff. In a response letter later Thursday, the city noted the timing of the union's letter and sniped back, but it also agreed to meet next week to begin those discussions. The 2 parties have been locked in a standoff for more than 4 years, with the union rejecting at least 9 requests from the city to negotiate since its collective bargaining agreement expired on September 30th, 2014. An evergreen clause has kept most of the agreement's provisions in place, including healthcare coverage, but firefighters have not received pay raises during that time, which also affects their pension calculations. The city sued in 2014 to invalidate the evergreen clause and force the union back into negotiations, but it lost the case in several courts and dropped the lawsuit late last year. But Thursday's renewed discussions grew icy even before they started, with a union representative telling a city official he could not attend the organization's news conference and asked him to get off union property. And just 2 weeks after city officials announced San Antonio had reached a new airplane passenger record, Air Canada and low-cost carrier Frontier Airlines are collectively pulling more than a dozen flights from the city's international airport. Air Canada says it will end its nonstop route from Toronto to San Antonio on April 28th, nearly 2 years after first launching the route. Frontier, which has rapidly expanded its service at San Antonio International in the past 3 years, will eliminate 16 of its 25 nonstop routes. But despite the pullbacks by Air Canada and Frontier, Airport System Development Committee head John Dixon says demand for travel in and out of San Antonio International Airport is getting brighter and brighter. San Antonio officials have aggressively sought more nonstop flights in recent years, and the city's airport currently has nonstop routes to 54 different destinations. When Air Canada and Frontier pull their routes later this year, that number will fall to 41. Air Canada has received more than $729,000 in incentives to operate the nonstop route through the city's Air Service Incentive Program, which subsidizes routes through a mixture of marketing incentives, rebates, and fee waivers. The airline says it will continue to operate routes to Houston, Dallas, and Austin. It's not immediately clear how much incentives the city has given Frontier to operate its routes. And that's your daily San Antonio Express briefing for Friday, February 1st. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts.